Yeah, well, at this time, we're being joined by our first guest of the evening, UFC Octagon Girl / Playboy Cover Girl / Artist Extraordinaire / Surfer / Ninja Assassin / Undercover Power Ranger, Brittney Palmer. Brittney, you're on Rebellion MMA Radio with the man with the sexiest voice in MMA, Mitch Ciccarelli, and the man with the scariest voice in MMA, Brian Levick. How the heck are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
We are doing awesome. You know, just another Sunday, another week of domination. Can't get much better than that. But, you know, you're up to a lot of things. I see you traveling the world. You know, one minute you're in Italy, the next minute you're in Germany. I mean, right now I think you're on Mars. You know, it's just, you're all over the place.
No, I just landed maybe an hour ago from New York. I was literally on 4 planes in 4 days this past weekend.
Where in New York were you? Where in New York were you?
I was downtown, and then last night I was downtown New York, and then earlier in the day I was in Melville. That's where the headquarters. Yeah, that's where the headquarters for Gamma is.
That's about 15 minutes away from my house.
Well, there you go.
I'm glad. What did you think of Long Island?
It's so funny. I was literally there for a day, and half of it I was working, and, you know, the other half I was traveling, and to get there, and it's like last night, you know, I was so exhausted, and I had just gone to dinner and, had a drink, and then I was already in bed. So New York is the one place I really want to spend some time in, but every time I've gone there, it's only been for work, or it's only been just for a day. So I have to go back and spend a little bit more time.
Hell yeah, those are my stopping grounds too. You know, Brian's from Long Island, New York. He's living there. I was born in Long Island. I'm actually visiting, going back home next month, and I'll be raising some hell and making Brian's life hell. So looking forward to that. But Brittney, you know, as always, there's so many awesome things, you know, going on in your life. But let's first talk about the upcoming 2013 Brittney Palmer calendar. I actually spoke to you before and after, you know, the 2012 one was launched, and obviously it was a big hit. What are some new things that you added into this new one that, all the fans out there can look forward to seeing?
Well, this one it's definitely more of a mature calendar. You know, I'm getting older, and I'm the creative director like I was with my 2012 calendar. I'm the creative director behind this calendar. I'm also, you know, fully financing the calendar, and it's all me. So I own the rights to every image and all of it, which is really, really important, and I wanted to keep that, you know, like I had on my last calendar. But this one, it still has that very 60s, 70s, retro vibe, but it's more mature. It's more like Bridget Bardot, it's not so much surfer chick, in a pair of Converse on the beach, and that's great, and we all love it, but that's already been done. So now it's more kind of bikini and just more elegant, but it still has this really cool retro vibe. I mean, we just shot the first day last week, and I mean, the pictures are so awesome, and I've been teasing them out on Twitter and on my website and stuff. So whoever hasn't seen it yet, go to BrittneyPalmer.com. You can kind of see, and then we have a video out that we had filmed. So it's good. It's definitely a different vibe, but it still has the continuity of that, you know, vintage feel.
Brittney, I spoke to you a while back when you were scheduled to go over to England for the MMA live show. I interviewed you for Fighters Magazine, and obviously the show never went off. And at the time, you were just, I think it was right after the UFC 144 show. What are the plans? Do you know what the UFC is doing? I mean, is Logan back full time? Is Mandela coming back, or are you and Ariane just the two main girls, and there's going to be guest appearances?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much exactly what it is. You know, Ariane and I, we hold down the fort, and between both of us, we work our schedule to where, I mean, it's just UFC's first priority, and sometimes if they want to bring in guest girls, I mean, it's always good for everyone and easy on the eyes. You know, I mean, Logan and Michelle are just so beautiful, and it was really cool to have them back. But I haven't heard anything really about bringing them back full time, but. As of right now, it's just Ariane and I.
What would you say is, out of all the places outside of the United States that you've been to, what would you say is you've had the most exciting experience?
Are we saying for work, or is this just in general?
No, with the UFC.
With the UFC, I always go back to the same one, is Australia. I really thought Australia was just amazing and beautiful, and I've always wanted to go, and I was able to go for, my job, which was really, really exciting, and, it's one of those things. It's just, I have the best job in the world, even though sometimes it's a little taxing traveling all the time, but it's just, you count your blessings every day, and I'm lucky to have a job that travels me all over the world, and, for, a sport that I, genuinely love. So, I would say Australia was still probably my favorite.
It's funny. A lot of the fighters that I've interviewed that have been over there said the same exact thing. That they've had some of their best experiences have been while they're in Australia. The people over there are great. The fans are very knowledgeable. Mm-hmm. Whether the fight's on the ground, whether it's standing, they're not the type of people to boo if the fight's stalling a little bit. They just appreciate the sport too much.
Yeah, we have some good fans over there. So, yeah, everyone says it. And so, if everyone says it, it must be true.
Hell yeah! I've actually, I used to live in Australia back in the day. Juggling kangaroos all the time and wrestling crocodiles. That's how I became the god that I am right now. I saw that you launched a video preview, promo with some of the shoots from the calendar, and definitely looks like, obviously it's a different kind of, theme than the last one, but kind of similar in the sense that there's so many different, unique and kind of sexy blend of different style pictures. I got to say, first off, though, bubbles are awesome. I mean, if that was you that came up with the the idea for that bubble bath shoot, you get some brownie points from me for that one. Cause,
dude, that one was really cool. It was super last minute, and I had sent Bill out to go, and I was like, you have to go to the pharmacy and get some bubbles, because we have to do a bubble bath picture. Like, I've never seen it in a calendar. This will be awesome. So, all of those looks that we did, it's just, I hired a stylist, and I had a makeup artist and a photographer, and we had this beautiful house on top of, in Hollywood Hills, and it was just like, I would go and I would see a room, and I'm like, this is a shot, and that's what literally the way it worked out. We had nothing planned. We all went in blind, and, creatively, the photographer and I worked together on finding really, really cool, different, different looks.
Now, a lot has changed since the last time we spoke. I mean, obviously you returned to the UFC, you posed for Playboy. One of your paintings of Gene Simmons actually came to life and beat a fan over the head with a guitar. So with all that has happened for you in 2012, what do you look forward to the most as we get closer to 2013?
So much has happened this year, so it's kind of, I'm just looking forward to the year in general. Like, I've really built up a good little spot and, kind of a niche, and it's just really fun, like, living life, and I don't want to say that there's one specific goal that I have, but I just want to keep getting better and, keep on with my art, and my art's doing so well right now. It's just like I'm so many pieces behind because I'm traveling so much, and I'm trying to juggle everything, and I have 4 commission pieces right now that I'm just starting on today, and it's just, I'm so lucky to even be an artist, and there are painters that are 10 times better than me and that have been painting their entire lives, and they haven't sold a piece, and I'm lucky to have, the amazing fans that are into art, and they think it's really cool, and I can, work with them and make some cool shit.
And, we don't want to take up too much more of your time. I got one more question for you, and I'll pass the mic back over to Mr. Levick over here. I wanted to ask you your thoughts on women's mixed martial arts. I mean, obviously you've got a busy schedule, so I'm not sure if you had a chance to catch, some recent female fights over in Strikeforce or, Invicta had an amazing card last night. I'm sure you probably heard some of the buzz on Twitter about the Invicta card last night. Those girls put on an incredibly action-packed, just all throughout the show, night of fights. With that said, being a woman yourself, what do you think about these girls who go out there and fight, and would you like to see them in the UFC someday?
You know what? I think it's amazing. It's so entertaining to me. I mean, all of the girls, Miesha Tate, Ronda Rousey, and I was at the airport and I saw Ronda Rousey on the cover of ESPN magazine. She looked absolutely phenomenal, and I completely respect it and appreciate it. And if it comes to the UFC one day, awesome. I wish I could follow it more. I really, really do. It's just, for me, it's so hard for me to even, eat a proper dinner, let alone touch up on anything else, other than UFC. So, no, I think it's wonderful, and I think any sport that a woman, puts her heart, passion, and everything into, and it's entertaining, and it's actually, it's thriving right now. I think it's absolutely amazing. I could never do it because I am a lover and not a fighter. I wouldn't be able to hang with those girls in the ring. They would definitely have a couple one-ups on me, I guess. But no, I appreciate it and respect it 100%.
We know you got knockout power. I've seen your training videos. I bet the house on you.
Yeah, I have the training videos, but they're holding pads. They're holding something that, like, they know that they're going to get a job. Like, they're prepared for it. Now, doing, like, sparring, I don't know.
Well, I heard you knocked out Nicki Minaj once outside a nightclub, but, rumors are circulating.
We don't talk about that on air.